Thank you for watching. Subscribe on Betrayed Man's Diary for more stories. Hey Reddit. I've read so many of your stories and I always thought, damn, I feel for that guy, but that'd never be me. Spoiler, it was me. I, 36M, had what I thought was a decent marriage to Ashley, 34F. 9 years. Solid. We weren't some lovey-dovey couple all the time, but we had a system. Inside jokes. Coordinated Netflix queues. Sunday morning pancakes. Real-life stuff. She works in marketing. Her firm is one of those culture-first places with branded hoodies, Zoom happy hours, and regular retreats to align brand values. I never really understood what they did, but I was happy she was happy. We didn't have kids yet. That was next year's plan. God, if I'd known. The signs didn't come as neon lights. They crept in like rust. Late work nights. Phone on silent more often. The way she flinched if I walked past her when she was on a text thread. I asked once, everything okay? And she smiled too fast and said, yeah, just the new campaign. Stressful. I believed her. I remember she came home one Friday night with Starbucks for me and my favorite takeout. I said, you're in a good mood, and she kissed me and said it was a good week. Later I found out that same night she'd spent 2 hours in a hotel downtown with someone named Evan. So yeah, good week. The unraveling began thanks to Jasmine. Now, Jasmine was always more Ashley's friend than mine. They met in college, reconnected after grad school. We'd all hung out a few times, brunches, a wedding, a few game nights. She was smart, sharp-tongued, but good people. She also apparently had no idea what Ashley was doing. Because one day, while scrolling Instagram like a zombie on my lunch break, I saw Jasmine's story. First slide, girls laughing around a fire pit. Second, a snow-covered cabin. Third, God help me, Ashley. In a hot tub. Sitting in a guy's lap. At first, my brain didn't compute. I thought maybe it was some old photo. Some joke. Until I saw the caption. Cutest couple on our mountain escape, smiling face with hearts. My stomach flipped. Ashley had told me she was at a team-building retreat in Colorado. She packed business casual. Took her work laptop. Kissed me goodbye at the airport. I stared at the screen. Tapped back. Watched the slideshow again. It wasn't a mistake. I didn't blow up. Not right away. I went full silent movie detective. Checked her shared calendar. Nothing but a fake client Q4 pitch event. Her Gmail was still logged in on our tablet, found boarding passes, hotel confirmations, none of which were work-related. I opened her laptop. There it was, Tinder. Still logged in. She'd hidden it in a folder called Work Tools. The irony. I scrolled through her messages. Evan was real. 29. Real estate. Big fan of deep V shirts and gym selfies. They'd been chatting for 5 months. The worst was one message from her. With you, I don't feel like I'm pretending. Pretending? What had she been doing with me all this time? I didn't confront her right away. I couldn't. I was shaking. Couldn't even hold my toothbrush the next morning. Instead, I took screenshots. Printed a few of them. Then I waited. Ashley got back on a Sunday. I knew her flight time because she'd sent me her itinerary days earlier, fake as hell now, but useful for timing. She walked in wearing her business trip face. You know, the one frazzled but proud, like she just closed $1 million deal. She set her suitcase down, pulled off her boots, and walked straight to the kitchen to start unpacking snacks she claimed were left over from the retreat. I stood there, arms crossed. Ashley, I said. She turned. Hey babe. Everything okay? Yeah. Just wondering if Evan enjoyed the hot tub too. Her entire body locked up. Like a glitch in the Matrix. I tossed her a printout. The Tinder chat where she said, I wish I didn't have to go home tomorrow. She didn't pick it up. She just whispered shit. The conversation that followed wasn't even a fight. It was a slow-motion unraveling of every lie she'd told. She cried. Tried to claim it wasn't physical at first. Said it started with her feeling invisible at home and Evan made her feel seen. I asked, so you let him see everything? She winced, but didn't deny it. The thing is, she wanted to come clean. But only because she'd been caught. There was no apology that didn't serve her. No regret without justification. I handed her a duffel bag and said, go stay with Jasmine. That's when the next surprise landed. Her voice cracked. I can't. I paused. Why not? She blocked me, she whispered. Turns out Jasmine had also seen the Instagram reaction storm. She got DMs from mutual friends. One even asked if she knew Ashley was cheating on Mark. Jasmine freaked. Called Ashley mid-trip and demanded an explanation. Ashley panicked. Lied. Said we were on a break. That's when Jasmine blocked her. So Ashley ended up texting her ex-roommate, left with a bag and nowhere permanent to stay. She looked at me and said, I don't know where to go. I said, that's not my problem anymore. That night, I sat on the couch holding our wedding photo. It felt like looking at two strangers. I stared at my own face, smiling like an idiot, completely unaware that the woman next to me would one day lie through her teeth and sneak off with a guy she met on a damn app. I put the photo face down. Then I deleted our anniversary from my phone. The next morning, Jasmine texted me. I'm sorry I ever posted that pic. I didn't know. She said you were separated. Are you okay? I told her the truth. Everything. She responded. Jesus. If I'd known, I never would have even tagged her. She manipulated me too. We decided to meet for coffee later that week. Not for closure. Just to talk. The coffee shop was quiet. Rain tapping the windows. A few laptops humming. The kind of place where emotions feel louder than they should. I spotted Jasmine in the corner, tucked into a booth with a scarf wrapped around her like armor. She looked up when I walked in and gave me a small, sheepish smile. Hey, she said. You look okay? I mean, considering. I laughed dry-tired. That's the best I've heard in a month. We ordered coffee and sat there in this weird silence. Not awkward, just heavy. She finally broke it. I owe you more than an apology. I tilted my head. For the photo? No, she said. For being too close to someone who was lying to you for months and not realizing it. That hit different. Jasmine pulled out her phone and scrolled through old messages. Look, I didn't know she was cheating. But I knew something was off. She started talking about how stressed she was, how disconnected you two were. At first, I thought it was just a rough patch. But then she got weird about details, who she was traveling with, where she was staying. She wouldn't let me tag her in stuff unless it was vague. She showed me texts like, can you not mention the guys on the trip in your post? Don't tag me in that one. Just say friends. Jasmine looked up. I should have pushed harder. I feel like I helped her hide it. You didn't know, I said. And I meant it. She was hiding it from everyone, including herself. But inside, I felt something shift. A second betrayal. Smaller than Ashley's, but still a sting. I realized how alone I'd been in my own marriage, how everyone around me had seen smoke, but no one thought to check for fire. After we talked, Jasmine and I didn't part ways right away. We just kept walking. The rain had stopped, but the air smelled new. Like a reset. We walked through the park in silence. Bailey, my dog, trotted between us like an emotional support referee. Finally, she said, you know, I keep replaying that night, the post, the photo, your reaction. And I think the universe wanted you to see it. You think the universe uses Instagram stories now? I asked. She smiled. Only when it's trying to slap the blinders off someone. I stopped walking. Jasmine did too. And then she looked me dead in the eye and said, she didn't deserve you. But maybe this whole thing? Maybe it's not the end. Maybe it's just the start. That night, I went home and stared at the bed I used to share with Ashley. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I stripped the sheets, boxed the framed photos, and lit the expensive-ass candle she always hoarded for special occasions. Because this was the first honest moment I'd had in months. After the coffee with Jasmine, I felt lighter. Not better, not healed, but lighter. Like I dropped something I didn't know I was carrying. I spent the next week reorganizing my life. And I mean that literally. I cleaned out drawers, deleted old playlists Ashley made, tossed the dried-out mascara she left on the sink. Even rearranged the living room furniture. I needed everything to look different because I didn't want to live in a shrine to someone who lied to me with a smile on her face. Then I found it. A file folder in the back of the desk drawer labeled Home Budget. Inside were printouts of our bank statements, highlighted, annotated, and weirdly spaced out. I flipped through them. And there it was. A $940 charge at a boutique hotel in Aspen. Not from the recent work retreat. From 3 months earlier. I hadn't seen the trip on any of her calendars. I checked the date. I remembered that week she told me she was at her sister's helping with a new baby. I even sent her a care package. Turns out she was drinking champagne in a king suite with Evan the real estate Tinder douchebag. That discovery? It crushed whatever illusion I had left. This wasn't some I fell into someone's arms story. This was methodical. Calculated. She didn't just cheat. She built a parallel life. And she used our joint account to fund it. I called the bank the next day and started separating accounts. Explained I was going through a divorce and wanted alerts for every withdrawal. The woman on the line was kind. Professional. But when she looked at the transaction log and asked, would you like to dispute these? I just said, no. Let her keep her dirty souvenirs. She was out of my life. She could keep the towels. That night, I vented to Jasmine over text. Told her about the second hotel trip, the financial lies. She called instead of texting back. I don't even know what to say, she told me. She wasn't just cheating. She was strategizing. Like she thought she'd never get caught. That's what gets me, I said. She probably thought I was too boring. Too checked out to ever notice. You're not boring, Jasmine said. You were just loyal. There's a difference. That one hit me hard. I hadn't been perfect. I knew that. But I'd always showed up. Did the work. Chose her every day. She didn't. A few days later, Jasmine invited me to her place for dinner. Just dinner. Nothing weird. But something felt different this time. She made lasagna, played some old records she loved, and we just talked. I told her about Ashley's healing beach selfies. She rolled her eyes and said, I bet she posted it with a rupee core quote and everything. We laughed so hard I nearly dropped my wine. Later, when we were cleaning up, I caught myself watching her wipe down the counter. Nothing dramatic. Just this quiet little moment that felt real. Not performative. Not Instagram-worthy. Just peace. As I was putting on my jacket, Jasmine looked at me and said, You deserve someone who doesn't make you second-guess yourself every time your phone pings. I nodded, and then I kissed her. Not dramatic. No fireworks. Just simple, steady, and kind. And she kissed me back. The kiss with Jasmine wasn't planned. We didn't talk about it after either. Not that night. I just smiled, said goodnight, and walked home feeling more human than I had in months. Like someone had flipped a switch in my chest. Not because it was some epic romantic turning point, but because for the first time in forever, something felt pure. No pretense. No secrets. Just two people sharing a quiet truth. The next morning, Ashley texted me. She hadn't messaged in weeks. Not since that final "I still think about us" email. But there she was, popping up on my screen like a ghost who still thought she had unfinished business. Hey, I'm in town. Can we talk? My first instinct was to delete it. But something in me, maybe curiosity, maybe closure, said I should hear her out. Not to rekindle anything. Just to finally finish it. We met at a neutral spot. A coffee shop halfway between her sister's place and my apartment. Same place I'd met Jasmine weeks before, funnily enough. Ashley looked different. Not bad. Just tired. Worn. A little less polished than usual. Like someone who hadn't had to put on the wife mask for a while and wasn't sure who to be instead. She didn't order anything. Just sat down and said, Thanks for coming. I nodded. You said you wanted to talk. She stared at the table for a long time before speaking. I messed everything up. No argument there. But I let her talk. She said Evan disappeared the second things got serious. Claimed he wasn't built for drama. And that her baggage was a red flag. Then ghosted. She said she moved in with her sister. Tried to throw herself into therapy. But couldn't shake the feeling that she ruined something good for something fake. I didn't say anything. So she went for the big guns. I don't expect anything. I miss who we were. I miss you. And I finally looked her in the eye and said, You don't miss me. You miss the version of me who didn't know. The one who trusted you. Who paid for your vacations and believed your stories. That version is gone. Her lip quivered. But I didn't let up. You had a husband who showed up every day. Who chose you when things were hard. And you used me like a safety net while you played pretend with someone else. That wasn't love. That was convenience. She tried to reach across the table. I pulled my hands back. We're done, Ashley. That door is closed. For good. She nodded. And for the first time since it all blew up, she didn't fight. Didn't cry. Didn't beg. She just said, I'm sorry. And left. That night, I slept harder than I had in months. No midnight tossing. No ghost arguments in my head. Just sleep. Real undisturbed peace. The next morning, I woke up, walked Bailey through the park, and texted Jasmine. Dinner tonight? Your place or mine? She replied with a smiley face and a yours. I'll bring dessert. And I smiled because it wasn't about filling a void. It was about building something with both hands this time. No secrets, no lies, just life. You always think the story ends when the truth comes out, when the liar is exposed, when the apology lands. But really, that's just intermission. The real story is what happens after, when the noise dies down, when the "how could she" outrage fades, when your friends stop asking for updates and your phone goes quiet. That's when the real work begins. It's been almost 8 months since Ashley's double life unraveled. Since I found her in another man's arms via a mutual friend's Instagram story. Since she admitted she'd been funding her romantic side quest with our shared bank account. Since I watched her walk out the door for the last time. And now? Now I wake up without that weight on my chest. The one that made me doubt my instincts. The one that whispered, "What if it's your fault?" It wasn't. Jasmine and I are together now. But not in some rush to the altar kind of way. It's easy. Honest. We both came from wreckage and neither of us wants to skip the rebuilding part. Some nights we stay in and make bad frozen pizza, play board games, and listen to each other vent about work. Some nights we walk Bailey in silence because not everything needs words. She never tries to fix me. I never pretend to be over things I'm still healing from. We let each other be messy, whole, human. And that's what love looks like now. I started therapy. Told my therapist the whole story from the first late night Ashley worked late to the way Jasmine kissed me like I hadn't been broken. She said, "You're grieving a version of your life that never really existed. That takes time." And damn if that didn't slap me in the face. But it helped. I stopped waiting for a moment where it all felt okay again. Instead, I learned to make peace with the mess. To sit with it. To grow around it. A few weeks ago, I boxed up the last of Ashley's stuff. Some old books, a pair of earrings she left in the drawer, a sweatshirt that somehow still smelled like her. I dropped it off at her sister's place. Didn't even ring the bell. I just left it on the porch, got in my car, and drove off. So if you're reading this because you just found out the person you trusted most lied to you, betrayed you, made you question your own worth, here's what I'll tell you. It's going to hurt longer than you think it will. You'll want closure. Answers. Something that feels like justice. But more than any of that, you need to find you again. The version of yourself that existed before they broke your heart. And when you do, don't rebuild to impress them. Don't heal for revenge. Heal for peace. Because someday you'll find yourself laughing at a dumb joke or holding someone's hand during a movie or watching the sunrise with zero anxiety in your chest. And you'll realize you made it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our dramatic stories. See you in the next video.